How's it going, everybody? Saul Sunforge here. Just make sure. It's been a while since I recorded a video, one of these style videos, and I just want to see if everything's working. It is. All right. What's going on, everybody? This is Saul Sunforge for Dungeons and Taverns. This is going to be the first video that I make that has somewhat of a script. I actually wrote stuff down, like talking points, so I don't meander forever. And this video is going to be on dice rolling your stats. And I'm going to make the series is going to cover, item for item, each thing in a character sheet. I was going to do it all in one video, but I decided not to. Because, why would you want to sit through a whole video if you don't need everything in that video, So I'm going to divide it up item per item and, so there'll be shorter videos, so that's good for you. All right, so let's talk about dice rolling and for D&D. And this covers other tabletop games too, obviously. Some of them that you roll, your dice for stats. And so I'm going to talk about some of the popular methods for rolling stats. It used to be that you roll your dice, and then you would do it down the row, and then that was your character. However you rolled it is where it went. But now. Some of the methods are you roll. Here, let me pull up my OBS so I can see what I'm showing. Yeah, does this show up okay with the? Here, let's do this. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now, okay. So these are D6. They're your normal everyday dice that you would see in like a game of Risk or Monopoly. So you don't have to buy anything special if you don't want to. Of course, as a D&D player, eventually you will. It's just what comes with the territory. So the main method used is 4d6. And you drop the lowest number. I'm seeing if I can put my camera, set it up so this way, once I get my other cameras back from my friend, I will be able to do multiple views and things. For right now, I can't. So the main way you roll it now is you roll 4d6, and you drop the lowest number to get your stat, and that's pretty terrible. But some people will have you you roll 4d6 and drop the lowest, and then re-roll ones. So it's a 1. There we go. So that's a 12 total. So, your stats for your character, the whole reason you're rolling is so you can record your stats. And your character class is going to determine where you want to ideally put your stats. If you're trying to make the most absolute best character you can, you want to optimize your stats where they your best stat would be where your character's primary stat is. So 4d6 drop the lowest is the most common method. If you drop the lowest, keep in mind, players, this is the DM is the one who tells you which style you're rolling. But if you drop the lowest and re-roll ones, you're always going to have a higher stat than if it's just re-roll ones. Or if it's just drop the lowest and you never re-roll the ones, excuse me. Because if you never re-roll the ones, and you drop the lowest, well, that means you can end up with a 3. Some DMs will allow you to re-roll stats like do your whole roll again if your total is under a certain number. And I do if it's lower than 5. If it's lower than 5, you get to re-roll the whole stat. Okay, so those are the most common methods. Is to roll 4, drop the lowest, or roll 4, drop the lowest, and re-roll ones. Those are the most common methods. The next method is just 3d6. Drop the lowest and re-roll ones. Okay, so there, see, look, I got a 17. So it's not impossible to still get great stats. It's just harder to get, obviously to roll 3 6s. It's not going to happen that often. And I don't care what any player says. If they rolled 2 or 3 18s, it's a lie. The probability just is too high. There's just no way. It's a lie. Usually. I roll good sometimes, but usually it is a lie. All right. So I'm just filling in some of the numbers that I roll into a character sheet. And, we're going to we'll cover ideal stats and things like that for each different type of class and whatnot. And, we'll even make sample characters of each class and give a little overview of each class. So this way you could decide if that's, really the class, that's the way you want to go. The next way after the 3d6 and drop the lowest, or 3d6, or not 3d6 and drop the lowest, 3d6 and reroll ones. After that is something called standard array. And what standard array is, there we go. Let me get this fixed up here. All right, there we go. All right, so what we have next is something called standard array. And what standard array is everybody, the DM gives everybody an assigned set of stats to work with. Everybody gets the same starting numbers. Of course, your racial modifiers and things will affect it after the fact. But before all that extra stuff is applied to your stats, the DM will give you your standard array. The rules as written standard array is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. And when I do standard array, I use 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, and 8. The final number of 8 is still the same. And that way is actually you get a much more powerful character than you do with the rules as written standard array. But I also have one that's if my players are looking for a little bit of a harder game, a little bit more normalized characters, normal people set in extraordinary circumstances, and gain their power and things like that. If they really want to feel those types of things, then I do 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, and 6. And so 6 would be the lowest number instead of the 8. And you see that I don't give the 18. But I give a 16, which is still higher than the 15 that you would get with the rules as written standard array. You just end up spacing the numbers, instead of 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, down the whole list. So you end up with a lower number. And standard array is good for league play. If you're wanting to go to a hobby shop and do some adventurers league stuff, a a lot of times they'll use a standard array instead of rolling for your stats. You know, and that's good. I mean, I feel like it is good in that setting. It is good. But I do find that players like to roll dice, and the most satisfying dice that they usually roll are usually in the character creation when they can, obviously there's randomness rolling dice, but still they can control, to a degree what their stats are going to be. Because you could roll, you could, after you start playing, you could notice that you roll pretty high. You're a hot roller. So, standard array might not be for you. But if you roll crap, then standard array is for you. But standard array gives everybody an even field. So it's not like that players don't feel like they're competing against each other, which happens sometimes, unfortunately. Okay, and then what else? Oh, the point buy. There's another system that's, it's like standard array in that you don't roll dice, but you get a specific amount of points. And rules as written, you get 27 points. And then each attribute you increase, the points, it costs more to increase it. And so the rules as written, you get 27 points to allocate. Everything starts out as I believe an 8. Like that's the lowest score you could get before you apply your racials is an 8. So everything has to be at least an 8. And then the maximum you could get before racials is a 15. And so that, it depends. I've played a few games with that method before. Not terribly many, because I'm not usually a player. I'm more of the forever DM, and sometimes I might get to play, and just not really that often. Maybe not even once every 4 or 5 years. But it's fine. It's my lot in life. I appreciate the fact that people want me to DM that bad, and things. But yeah, so that's the point buy, and then a method that I guess always kind of was occurred to me, but I've never seen it or have implemented it. Is you roll up your stats, You roll up your stats. However, using the previous method, the 40, and then reroll ones. Okay, so 16, and then that's 14. And you keep going. It's 12. 16. 14. 2, 3, 4, 3. One more. Okay, so it's 15. All right, so there you go. And then you do it again. We're not re-rolling ones, we're just dropping the lowest. Yeah. 11. 8. Well, I can already tell you what column I think I'm going to pick. Oh, there we go. Okay, 14. I don't think there's anything that will still save this column. 14. Two more rolls. That's 13. Last roll. That's actually a reroll. Oh my god. Well, it's not a reroll, but it's pretty close. All right. So then, what you do is you pick which column you want, and you have to take every number in that column. You don't get to pick some from column A and some from column B. You pick which column you want. And clearly here thanks. In this example here, we clearly would pick column A, the first column I rolled, 16, 14, 12, 16, 14, 15. I mean, it's just better. It's just better in every way. And so those are some of the ways that you'll be rolling your dice. And the next video I'll show you on applying your stats in order to come up with some of your other numbers that you'll be coming up with later on in the character sheet. But this was just a brief video on how to roll your attributes for your character sheet. So, Sunforge signing out. Have a great day.